And the Giants didn't do bad either. This was a great draft for New York City.
The Giants, I really liked what they did, but the Jets, I saw on Twitter this morning, Jets fans are really excited, which,
I think they should be.
well, so do I, but it kind of gives me a little hesitation. When all the Jets fans are excited about something, it seems like disappointment might be right around the corner.
Are you surprised Malik Willis gets bypassed over Kenny Pickett, and is that just a hometown pick?
I think it's a city thing, don't you think? I don't really know for sure.
Yeah.
It's got to be something with a hometown kid because they had the graphic. I guess every team has their graphics all ready to go with graphics of who they picked. But it was exciting to see Kenny Pickett gone, and Malik Willis was on Twitter. He seems to have a pretty good attitude about it. He knows he's going to get picked at some point anyway.
He's going to get picked high in the second round. There's no doubt about that in my mind. Some team will trade to make sure they get him if they have to. But I don't quite understand, I would think, honestly, that Kenny Pickett is a little more ready than Willis. One level of competition, ACC versus Liberty's conference. And Liberty's an independent, aren't they? I'm pretty sure they are. I don't think they don't play a top-notch schedule. Where are they? Have you got that?
It doesn't say right here. Hang on, let me click on another button. Yo, you're right. They play as an independent.
Yeah, that's what I thought. Two, he's more of a mobile quarterback, right? He's not a total in the pocket kind of a guy. He's very athletic, obviously, and he may end up being the better guy. But the guy that's more ready would be Pickett. But Pittsburgh traded to get Mitch Trubisky. Stupidly, I think. But they're going to give Trubisky a shot. So wouldn't you go with the more athletic guy that you think may take a little bit longer but could have the higher upside if you were Pittsburgh? This has to be a hometown deal.
Unless you don't trust Trubisky, and in which case you want to juggle one guy who's the most ready versus another guy who you're just not sure about.
That could be too. But it was a night full of surprises, and now you have to sit there and you hope, because there's 2 rounds today, 2 and 3. You hope that Calvin Austin and Dylan Parham go. Now, in several mocks, they're in second. I think Parham's like in the second round in one of them.
Parham, I've seen second round pretty much everywhere, I feel like.
In ESPN mocks, they're both in the 4th round. In fact, who's the main? Is McShay the main guy or Kuiper?
Well, they fight back and forth.
Yeah, but those 2 guys, I think they both have them in the 4th round. One of them has Calvin Austin going before Dylan Parham, which is amazing to me. Both 4th round. Other mocks, I've seen them both 3rd round, and I've seen Parham in the 2nd round. I hope they both go today. That would be good. Calvin Austin, I think, with all the receivers that have already gone out there, you would think Calvin would go at least 3rd.
It's got to help him that so many receivers have gone.
Yeah.
And it might just have to do with position, too, because in the NFL.com, the grading scale they do or whatever, Parham graded really high. I think 2nd round, like in terms of where he falls in there. So it could just be maybe someone in looking for his position yet, but he graded well enough to be a 2nd-round pick.
All right, so tonight is Game 6. We will move from the draft, and that story is not complete. Of course, on Monday, we'll really sort of give out grades and figure out who did really great. Right now, I'd have to say the Jets are the number 1 team, and I'd have to give the Bears the biggest failure because the Bears didn't even have a pick. I don't think the Raiders had a pick either, did they?
Neither did the Dolphins.
Or the Dolphins. All 3 of them get Fs just for
0 picks?
Not having picks. All right. Game 6 tonight, no Steven Adams, so you don't have to worry about him being in the starting lineup. He is in health protocol. I guess that means COVID. Now, it would worry me immensely if I were the Grizzlies, because didn't he get on that airplane with him yesterday?
You got to think so. But if they didn't test positive, I mean, clearly they all got tested at the same time.
I'm sure they did.
And if he's the only one that tested positive, you're probably good.
You hope so. Now they need, it's a shame he didn't play in last game. He could have given that thing to Karl Anthony Towns, leaning on him.
That's a sensitive subject with Karl Anthony Towns.
I guess I shouldn't say that. I guess I shouldn't say that, really. But that's it. So, Game 6, no Steven Adams. At least that's it at the moment. You got to keep your fingers crossed. That's the way it stays. So there's pressure in Game 6. My question for you folks at the AutoZone text line at 901-360-8255, or to you, J-Mo, who's the pressure on? Is it the team trying to close it out, knowing they got a home game, but trying like the Dickens to close it out? Or is it on the team at home now with that added pressure of your home fans really egging you on? Is it on them? Because if they don't win, they're done.
It's got to be on both, I would think, right? Like, I think kind of like last night in the Mavericks-Jazz game. The Mavericks have a chance to close it out, but the Jazz are finishing out at home, and the Mavericks haven't won a playoff series with Luka yet, so they feel their own pressure, and the Jazz feel pressure to close it out. I think something similar going on here in Memphis.
I hate to say it, the pressure got to our friend Mike Conley.
No, how about that travel? He still thinks he didn't travel.
He turned the ball over. I don't know. That's a tough call to make, and it's a tragic call for the Jazz because it leads to a Brunson bucket that wins the game.
And Mike Conley had a tough playoff, too. He missed some open shots.
Yeah.
He just played. It's the first time I've seen him looking aged.
He looked old.
Uh-huh.
I hate to say that.
Yeah, he did, though.
He did. He looked old. And so that thing was closed out. We'll talk NBA with our friend Andy Schiffman. What's going on with the U of M? What's the latest going on there? Jason Munz from the Commercial Appeal will join us in the next segment at 10:25. But I think, honestly, I think there's a lot of pressure on the Grizzlies. And we were just trying to figure out, because they've been outplayed, even though they lead 3-2, and they're favorites again tonight by 1.5. They've been favored in every game. But they have been we tried to figure this out. So there are, at this point, 240 minutes played in this series. 5 games, 48 minutes a game. I think Memphis has led. We know they led for 3 quarters in game 2. That's 36 minutes. I'm going to say generously, they've led 24 more minutes, 60 minutes in this series out of 240. That's 25% of the time. I think that's about accurate. So 75% of the time they've been behind in this series.
I think it has to be right. It's somewhere in between 60, 65, something around there. And that's on. I can't figure out. I said this to you a minute ago. I can't figure out if that's more of a testament to the way the Grizzlies play, or if it's more indicative of the team the Timberwolves actually are. Maybe it goes a little bit of both ways.
Well, I think the Timberwolves, and maybe this is a part of that DNA that you have to have, the scar tissue of being in postseason. The Grizzlies have figured out ways to win games. And the Timberwolves being as young as the Grizzlies are. But, by the way, whichever team wins becomes the youngest team to make the second round of the NBA playoffs. So that in its own right is pretty intriguing. The Grizzlies won a critical play-in game at Golden State last year. So they have figured out ways to close out games, right? Maybe they'll figure out a way to close out this series, too. So they know how to do it. The Timberwolves don't. And even though the Timberwolves have led so often in this series, they haven't figured out how to hold big leads. Maybe that is their youth and not having that experience that comes in the playoffs and figuring out a way to do it. It was interesting last night that when Golden State won, I guess that was 2 nights ago, right? Yeah. When Golden State won, that was the comment that was made in the post-game interview that Steph Curry gave, where he was going, we hadn't done this in a while. And really, there are several players out there that haven't won a series. Now, Klay Thompson and myself and Draymond Green, we have. And even we were nervous because we hadn't done it in a while. So there is a thing about that. And at this point, I guess you could say the Grizzlies are better at taking the pressure. And I would have to think, if you're eliminated, that's slightly more pressure. Now, when you come home and you're the Grizz and you're favored again at home if you don't win tonight, now that pressure really, I think, goes to you. You're the 2 seed, and you're at home, and you're going to be favored again most likely. You should win that game. So it is interesting. I would have to say, if we're looking at pressure, slightly more to the Timberwolves tonight at home, and they're fighting to stay in the playoffs. And most people are going to say you choke this away if you don't win tonight, because you had your chances to put this team away, up double digits in the fourth quarter in 2 games, and nobody has ever done that before. The Grizzlies winning those two. So, I think I think slightly more pressure on them. How will Taylor Jenkins start? I believe he'll start the same way. They were up 13-2 at home.
I'd have to agree.
In Game 5. So Tillman should start. And what Pete Pranica told us yesterday, I think, is very accurate. It's great to have two guys who know how to play together come off the bench to give you that juice.
That's the whole thought about around a six-man, right? Is you have a guy who is better than the other second groups he's going to play with on other teams. Right. You look at Manu Ginobili. Jamal Crawford played his career as a six-man. The Jazz with Clarkson comes off the bench and plays six-man for them. Brandon Clark, that's a great role to have, somebody that is better than his opponents in that role.
Yeah. So I think that is probably the way to go. And you're only going to play 7 guys in this series, right? We know Adams isn't playing. I don't think that the confidence in DeAnthony Melton is there anymore. Yeah, and if there's been one thing about this series that might be exposed is the Grizzlies do not have enough shooting power. DeAnthony Melton has not been the role that he was supposed to in that regard. Bane is the only guy that's been a consistent three-point shooter. This game is a game of threes. And the other aspect is that the Grizzlies foul too much. They're not good free throw shooters. They fouled too much, and their second-best player has not really been much of a factor in this series. When he's in, he has, but he's only averaged like 22 minutes, and in a critical game, last game, which they ended up pulling out at home, he only played 17 minutes. You got to get more out of Triple J.
There's no doubt about that, but the good news for him, the good news for Steven Adams, the good news for Melton, who you mentioned, is that if you close it out today or you close it out in Game 7, either way, a new series is a whole different ballgame. You could have Melton have a great series because it's so much built on matchups, and that's the beauty of the playoffs, honestly, is someone can be non-existent in one playoff series and be the hero in another.
All right, so there's going to be a game on Sunday at FedEx Forum, by the way. We should point this out. So if those of you who are getting tickets or have tickets or whatever it may be, Grizzlies play tonight on ESPN. It is at 8 o'clock. If they win the game, they will play Golden State Game 1 at 2:30. If they lose, we got a Game 7 Sunday, 2:30 against the Timberwolves. Any way you look at it.
There's a game in the Forum on Sunday.
There's a game in the Forum at 2:30 on Sunday, and then some of us will leave that game and go see Mean Girls at the Orpheum.
Great news for people like that, whoever they might be.
I don't know who that could be, but yeah. What a Sunday that is going to be. And I'm missing the Counting Crows. They're on Sunday at Music Fest. When is Van Morrison? Is he tonight?
Tomorrow, I think. Well,
tomorrow?
You're asking the wrong person. I really don't know, but I think it's tomorrow.
You're wearing that press attire in Hollywood. I think you would know everything like that.
Football reporter, though.
Football. Oh, football.
I got 2 phones here today, like Adam Schefter.
Oh, very good. All right, last thing, and let me remind everybody, I'm sitting in the Family Leisure studio. They do need people. They are looking for salespeople. They are looking for technicians. They're looking for a cashier. It's simple. Get to I-40 and Whedon Road. You could have a whole new future with great employers. It's a great company to work for. It's beautiful inside. And I got the vacation at home sale going on right now, so you'll fit right in very quickly. Just go see our friends at Family Leisure. And I do want to remind everybody, man, it's going to be warm. It's going to be in the 80s today, and it's Friday. When you're done playing golf or taking your walk, and you feel so good because it's Friday, you're off the next 2 days. Maybe you're thinking about going to Music Fest. It's, by the way, Tiger Lane, Liberty Park. It's going to be beautiful. The perfect thing to start your weekend would be Poppy's Pills. Just what the doctor ordered. That's the Pilsner that's made right here in Memphis. Light, crisp, refreshing. Ultra crushable is what they like to say. Built for speed. And, of course, it's made right here in Memphis, which just makes you feel better about the whole thing. 6 packs, 15 packs. You can ask your favorite retailer about which might be the best for you. My recommendation, make it ice cold. You will enjoy it. What a great way to start the weekend. Late this afternoon on your patio, wherever it may be. Get yourself some Poppy's Pills from Grind City Brewing. So it's finally happened, J-Mo. I'm not surprised. Miami guard Isaiah Wong.
Oh, this is crazy.
What's crazy is this is going to become the norm, okay? You're hearing this from me right now. This is going to become the norm. So Isaiah Wong is a guy. He's a guard. He is a two-time All-ACC player. He's the second leading scorer for the Hurricanes, and they made the Elite Eight this year. He just said through his agent, which is legal, that he will transfer if his NIL money isn't increased. This is an unbelievable story. So he's got an agent. That guy's name is Adam Pappas. He works for Next Sports. That's his agency. Pappas just did a deal for another kid coming to Miami from Kansas State. His name is Nigel Pack. His deal, $800,000 over 2 years and a car. So far, Pappas has done 111 deals, either signed or pending. 111 deals. A lot of this is funded by a Miami billionaire whose name is John Ruiz. Ruiz has two companies that apparently he uses to fund these people, and they do stuff for. And I don't know what they are. Life Wallet and Cigarette Racing. What do you know what those companies are?
Fronts to give money to college athletes. That's literally how they set them up.
That's what it is?
It's his whole family, too. There's like 80 Ruizes in South Florida, and all they do is throw money at University of Miami athletes.
It's crazy.
It's insane.
It's crazy.
Of course it starts in Miami, too, of all the places in America.
But you know what? I mean, not every school is going to get this, John Ruiz or a Ruiz. There are plenty of schools that will. But this stuff is nuts. So here's what Ruiz told Pappas, the agent, about Wong. He goes, I've already got a signed contract with him. He's already locked in. I don't renegotiate. So this kid is literally going to go into the transfer portal to try to get a better deal. I guess he wants an $800,000 deal in a car.
It's ridiculous.
And and Pappas is saying, well, my guy's a proven guy. Why are they giving rookie or freshmen coming in more money, or transfers coming in
I think
more money?
Rookie's a good word.
Well, no, it's this is the crazy
because that's what
part
it's like.
of this. This is the crazy part of this. Steve Earhart said to me, I don't think he'd mind me saying this. He cautioned, and he said, this stuff is really already out of hand. And this is a fantastic analogy. What college sports is becoming is pro sports without contracts and virtual constant free agency. It's tougher than pro sports. At least with the NFL or the NBA, you sign a contract. You've got a certain amount of years. There are rules about free agency. Nothing at this point until Congress or whatever NCAA body we have, because who knows how long the NCAA is going to be in this present form, until there are rules, this is the kind of zaniness you're going to see.
Yeah, you're right. I almost think, honestly, in my opinion, this is exactly what was happening before NIL became a thing, and NIL brought it to the forefront. And now everyone can be appalled about it together because it's absurd that this kind of thing takes place in college athletics, Dave. They're going to a school. It is literally, I mean, I don't mean to downplay how good college athletics are in D1 athletics at the highest level like SEC. It's glorified high school sports. If you think about it in the context of just like high school sports, it is ridiculous to behave this way, moving school to school, paying all these guys. They're kids, but that's where we're at now.
That is where it is, and they're going to have some guidelines sooner or later. But in the meantime, here comes Isaiah Wong, and let's see if he goes in the transfer portal and comes up with big money. That will be interesting to see. There is our first segment in the books. Wow, it's crazy. So what's happening with the U of M? Is Lester Quinones coming back? I think so. What about DeAndre Williams? What about Larry Brown? What happened to Caleb Murphy? We'll find out. Our insider, that is commercial appeal writer, Jason Munz, whose beat is the Tigers. He will let us know in just 1 minute. Our title sponsor for this program is Homer Skelton Hyundai in Olive Branch, right at the corner of Craft Road, first exit Mississippi and Lamar. That's Highway 78. And here is what Chris True will tell you. He's put together this group that's been around for a long time, and they want to take care of you. That's the truth. They've set the standard for the way car business should be done, in my estimation. And Chris True's promise is, if you're buying a new car, you'll never pay more than sticker price. In the laws of supply and demand, not every car agency is saying that. Not every dealership is living by that, but that's what they do at Homer Skelton Hyundai. Jason Munz comes your way in just a minute.
Start your day with Sports 56 Mornings with Greg Gaston and Eli Savoy. Weekday mornings from 7 to 10, right here on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
For years, I have talked to you about James Davis, the finest men's store in all of Memphis, the service, the selection, everything that goes with quality. And I've told you recently about the Stant Perfect Fit shirts. Well, now there's the Stant Perfect Fit pants. Absolutely amazing. Only 2 measurements fed into a computer, and all of a sudden, you've got the perfect fit pants. I'm talking everywhere. The leg, the seat, the bottom, all made to fit your body absolutely perfectly. And there's 80 different fabrics to choose from. You will find the right look, the right fit, almost instantaneously. They start at $162, but you will never find a better pair of pants than these at James Davis Men's Store. And the shirts are still there, and guess what? It's the only place in Memphis that you can find Stant. That's the James Davis Men's Store in the Laurelwood Shopping Center.
The Jeep Celebration event at Ram Truck Month is still going strong at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat on the Pike. Get legendary performance in 2022 Dodge Challenger XST, $398 a month or $32,415. Looking for supercharged and super fast? 2022 Dodge Charger XST, $439 a month or $35,780. And workhorse ready 2022 Ram 1500 Tradesman, $445 a month or $35,890. And don't miss 2021 Fiat 500X, $289 a month, 30 MPG Highway. Plus trade up and get more for your ride at Gossett Chrysler Jeep Dodge Ram Fiat. So drive past the rest and come to the best or shop online, GossettMotorCars.net.
If you want it, we got it at Gossett Motor Cars.
84 months at 3.99, 3,500 down. Must finance through Chrysler Challenger, NH1 28,583, MSRP 33,415, Charger XST, NH1 26,525, MSRP 36,780, 1,500, MSRP 39,140, 500X, MP9 45,5410, MSRP 28,560. Includes all rebates and incentives. Excludes tax title and license with approved credit. See dealer for complete details. Offer valid through 4/30/2022. Dealer stock only.
Ole Miss Rebel Yell is back. The Rebel Yell Hotline Radio Show is back on WHBQ Sports 56 and 98.5 FM. Every Monday night at 6, hear the latest news on your Ole Miss Rebels with Yancey Porter with 24/7 Sports, former Ole Miss defensive tackle Mike Fitzsimmons, Gordon Ford covering SEC Sports Call, and former Ole Miss baseball announcer Gary Darby. From kickoff to free throw to extra innings, your Ole Miss Sports on the Rebel Yell Hotline Show right here Monday night at 6 on Sports 56 560 AM and 98.5 FM, your Mid-South sports station.
Now, back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
It is a gorgeous day today, isn't it? Isn't this a good day to go play golf? How many of you want to play golf this afternoon? Maybe drink some of that Grind City Poppy's Pills while you're playing. And right now at Miramichi, you can play for $49.50. Maybe even lower if you're a senior. $49.50, though, for the Friday race for most people. That includes golf cart and complimentary range balls. And Miramichi's been busy. You got to start learning to get your tee times in early because it's no longer the little secret that it used to be just north of Memphis in Woodstock, about 10 minutes from downtown. Everybody knows 300 acres of beauty, 7,400 yards of championship golf. Golf Week said if you're playing in the state of Tennessee, it's a must. You got to play Miramichi, one of the best courses in the state. And that beautiful terrace, after your round, you sit outside. You got a full-service bar with flat-screen TVs to watch sports. And you can even eat out there. They got food. It's perfect. It's the best view in all of Shelby County. And the golf course, I say 7,400 yards. There's 5 different tee boxes. So you're set. You can play whatever level you want to. And the back 9 is like a walk in the woods with this meandering stream. It's gorgeous. Go check it out. You'll love it. Best practice facilities around. And remember, every time you play there, free golf balls on the range, as many as you want. It's the best thing going around. It's Miramichi. One of the best guys going around when it comes to writing about the Tigers, that would be Jason Munz from the Commercial Appeal. So last week, Jason, you said Caleb Murphy, he would be included. You were right on the money with Kendrick Davis. And what a get that is for Penny Hardaway and his crew. What happened to Caleb Murphy?
Well, that is a very good question. So I know that Memphis was expecting Caleb Murphy to follow suit, to follow in Kendrick's footsteps. But then, it's recruiting. It's even though he's already in college, you still, it's still recruiting, and I'm not exactly sure what happened. I know that he and Penny were supposed to talk last Monday night. And then I don't know much beyond that. I know they were supposed to try and, have a little bit of a meeting of the minds. And I know it was around that time that there was a report that I saw that Caleb had pretty much narrowed down his choice of destination to either Memphis or Houston. I know that Memphis still feels good about their chances of getting Caleb Murphy, but I do think that it certainly, obviously the timeline has changed. I thought this.
Yeah, no. Just sort of to back you up, my sources, and you and I have different sources. We both obviously have passion and interest in this program. And my sources thought it would be a week from from tomorrow that Caleb was going to sign on Saturday, the day after Kendrick Davis signed. So I think it was a surprise that he has not signed. I have no idea what Caleb Murphy's going to do. Yeah, that would be a great addition. Obviously, there's other alternatives, certainly.
Sure.
But this guy would be a nice guy because he's a big athletic guard who will defend. He's not the greatest shooter, but he can still score.
He can. What he does, I think, he's not a great shooter, or he hasn't been yet. And so there's no reason to think that he'll just all of a sudden wake up and start, burying threes. But I think what he would do if he were in a Memphis uniform playing right next to Lester Quinones, possibly. We'll get to that in a minute, I'm sure.
Yep.
And Kendrick Davis is he will, the three of them would work in tandem. Like they would each help each other be better. Like Caleb would take some of the heat off of Kendrick. Kendrick would take some of the heat off of Caleb, and it all, it's all a very synergetic thing that could be with that trio. And Kendrick's outside shooting, Lester's outside shooting would help open up some lanes and some penetration opportunities for Caleb Murphy. He's very good at that. So, I think, I know Memphis wants him. I know that he's very interested in Memphis. He would, his presence would help in a lot of ways. But it just seems like the timeline has been changed a little bit.
No doubt. All right. So let's get to who's coming back. The one area that I did not realize when you were getting Kendrick Davis was you were getting a recruiter too. Apparently he's working the phones on Lester. He's working the phones on DeAndre Williams. What are the odds? Because I don't think those guys are going to the NBA this year, personally. What are the odds of them coming back to Memphis now?
Well, so, when I talked to Kendrick last week, before he made his announcement, he told me that he's got a picture of how he wants, he's got a vision for how he wants this thing to play out, and he's working very closely with Penny Hardaway. He's letting Penny know what he thinks would be good like the types of players that would fit with him. He when we talked about it, he was like, "Yeah, I embrace the role of being a recruiter." He did some of it at SMU, getting the Weathers brothers, and
Boy, and they were good. They were good.
Oh yeah, and Zach Nuttall, another one that they got from the transfer portal. I mean, Kendrick Davis was a big in that, convincing these guys to come back. And yeah, he's been in touch with Lester. He's been in touch with DeAndre. He said he's really been working Caleb Murphy really hard, trying to convince him to come to Memphis. So as far as the odds are concerned, the way it's been explained to me is that the odds are better that DeAndre, if you're comparing DeAndre and Lester, the odds are better that DeAndre comes back, simply because he's got a relationship with Kendrick. They're both from Houston. They know each other. They've played against each other, obviously, these last couple of years, and I think DeAndre's excited about the opportunity to play with Kendrick at Memphis. That is not to say that there's not good odds that Lester comes back. As we saw just a couple of nights ago, he made it very clear in a post on social media that, yes, his primary goal is to make it to the NBA. But if for some reason that doesn't happen, and it doesn't look like it will, then he's back at Memphis. He's letting everybody know that he's not going into the transfer portal if he plays another year of college. And, I mean, anything could happen. I mean, all it takes is one person to fall in love with you from one front office, and you're off. You're whisked away. But I don't think that is going to happen, and so I expect Lester and I expect DeAndre back as well.
Will Larry Brown be back? That, of course, is another one of the questions that everybody on social media is wondering about.
Yeah, I know he's back in town. I do know that. I found that out earlier this week. He had left for a while to take some time off, get away, decompress. I understand that he went back to New York to get him and his wife moved out of they were moving from one home in New York to another, and so but he's back. He's back in Memphis now. Whether that means he's going to be back at Memphis next season or not, I think it's still up in the air. I haven't gotten a good read on whether anything has changed in the last couple of days. But yeah, my understanding is, and this hasn't changed. He's willing to come back. He wants to come back. He wants to be back. And Penny wants him back. It's just a matter of those two getting together and actually saying it to one another. Things have been busy. Again, Larry's been preoccupied with a few things, and obviously Penny has too. And so my understanding, based on some things that I was told earlier this week, is that the two of them were scheduled to talk at some point in the coming days, which would have been the last couple of days, maybe even today or tomorrow. His contract expires tomorrow officially. The contract that he signed last June or July expires tomorrow officially. So, yeah, we'll see. I mean, I guess it could go either way, but the fact that he came back, the fact that he's, that it sounds like he and Penny are both on the same page, maybe that's a good sign.
Last thing, big man. Broom, I know, is a guy that's being mentioned. That there are several others. One's a 6'7" guy. That's a big guy that may go in the NBA. Kenny Lofton Jr., right? That's his name.
Yep.
Tell me where you think Memphis is at with these, with one position that they want to fill for sure, whether Williams comes back or not, and that's a post player. Where will they get that from?
Well, so you've got Janai Broom from Morehead State. He's 6'10". You got Kenny Lofton Jr., who's 6'7". You got KJ Williams from Murray State, who's 6'10". I know that they are all there is some level of mutual interest on with all three of them. I know that Broom has Memphis in his top 8. I know that Broom and Kendrick Davis have been in contact. Janai Broom and Kendrick Davis have been in contact. I know that KJ Williams and Kenny Lofton Jr. have both declared for the NBA draft while also keeping their collegiate options open. And I've been told that Lofton is leaning towards staying in the draft. Now, on the off chance that he doesn't stay in the draft, then it sounds like he's interested in teaming up with Kendrick Davis at Memphis.
Of those 3 guys that you just mentioned, who do you think is the best fit for what Memphis will have coming back?
Probably. I mean, see, the thing with Lofton is he's 275 pounds.
Yeah,
and I know there's been a lot made of the fact that, on the surface that doesn't necessarily fit with the run and gun, up tempo, high octane pace that Penny Hardaway likes to run.
I've seen the kid move. He can run okay as big as he is.
He can, and so, but like my thing is like he's so talented that you figure it out. Like, you worry about getting him first and then you figure it out later. There's a lot to like about those other 2 guys. Now, the caveat with all this is that I don't think Memphis views any one of those 3 guys as the answer at the 5 spot. I think they're looking at those guys as more 4s than 5s. Now, certainly they could play some 5 if it came down to it, but no, I still think they've got their eye on somebody else for that.
Are you going to tell us who that is? I have a suspicion, but
well, I'll
tell you what. We'll tease this. That guy is a giant. Can I say that? Are we on the same page?
Yes.
Okay. We'll tease it that way.
You're fair to say that.
Maybe we'll have more info next Friday when we talk. Thank you, Jason. I appreciate it.
Always sharp as a tack, you are, Wolo.
Just trying to keep up with you, my man. Just trying to keep up with you. That is Jason Munz from the Commercial Appeal. He's brought to you in part by Conway. Conway Services, heating, cooling, plumbing, electric service. Now, if there's a problem, believe me, they figure it out. And sometimes they'll send guys 2 or 3 times. They always make sure in the end, they take care of you. 384-3511. Get that customer service. Get that efficiency. Get the tune-ups. Tune-ups are critical. I said this every day, but I mean it. If you want your system to last longer, you want your MLGW bill to be fairer, then make sure your system is in tune. It lasts longer, and honestly, it is cheaper on the energy bill. All you got to do is call 384-3511, the 16-point Energy Saver Super Tune-Up inside, outside. It's like taking your system to the car wash. They get all the dirt and the grime and the leaves out of the outside units. It's really true. And then when they start with the air conditioning system, they're going to check your Freon levels. In the wintertime, they do a carbon monoxide check. There's all a reason. It's all about making your system better. 384-3511, Conway Services. And don't forget, if you're stocking up today, you got to check out the Spirit Shop. That Spirit Shop, well, it's so beautifully located right there at Poplar and St. Nick. It's so easy to get to. And every spirit or accessory or anything you may need, they got it right there. St. Nick, Poplar, 4848 Poplar, right down from Clark Tower. It's that little log cabin, but it's not so little inside. It looks that way. They've got everything in there. Vintage, prime, rare spirits, middle ground, up and coming, some bargains. Just talk to Eddie Connor. His family's owned it since 1969. It's a family-run business. You'll find somebody in there that you'll love chatting with, and they'll educate you, and you can find out the latest. I promise you. You'll enjoy your experience, and the weekend's here, so you better restock. And when you do, you got to do it at the Spirit Shop. To Chicago we go in just a minute. Our friend Andy Schiffman from Priority Sports. We'll talk NBA in just a second.
Add a little fun to your lunch break. Join Johnny Radio for Sports 56 Happy Hour from 11 to 1 every weekday on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM.
Hey everybody, Chevy Truck Month is rolling in Olive Branch. I'm out here at All-Star Chevrolet looking at every new and certified Silverado truck you could want. Crew cabs, double cabs, 4x4s, high country. 0% financing is available and your good credit deserves it. You can even get $1,000 allowance for accessories or get bonus cash. Kevin and Jeff are killing it right now getting all new 2022 Equinox SUVs to Olive Branch where you could drive one today. Really affordable new Chevy SUVs. If you want to pre-order, Kevin or Jeff can show you all the new Chevys in the pipeline. So go to allstarautogroup.com and check out hundreds of certified and pre-owned right here, right now. If you want to sell your car, the go-to place to sell any car or truck for some crazy good money is here at All-Star Chevrolet. Get a check today, and you don't even have to buy one of theirs. Just bring it on, even if you owe money on it. Remember, it's not South Haven, not the Pike, not Collierville, Bartlett, or Mount Moriah. It's got to be Olive Branch, people. So find new roads to All-Star Chevrolet or go to allstarautogroup.com.
Hi, this is Troy Fiveash, owner of Fiveash Roof Services. If you need a new roof for your home or business, we hope to hear from you and will work hard to earn your business. We are experts and certified in residential and commercial roofing, siding, and gutter installation. I have been serving the Memphis area for over 20 years, and now with two of my sons working with me, we plan to be here for years to come. So if you need a roof, please give us a call. On a personal note, what a great time it is to be a Memphis sports fan. With the Grizzlies and the Redbirds and 901 FC, not to mention Tigers football and basketball, it's going to be a fun year. Thanks to Coach Silverfield and Coach Hardaway and their staffs for their dedication to the student and athletes, the University of Memphis, the City of Memphis, and us fans. Five Ash Roof Services, a proud partner of the Memphis Tigers and the official roofer of the Tigers home team. Five Ash Roofing, fair, honest, and ethical. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com. 367-0050 or memphisroofer.com.
Five Ash Roofing, it's what we do. We're here for you.
Hi, Jimmy Stovall here with Corky's Barbecue. Catering has been our specialty for more than 38 years. Corky's makes it easy for you to impress your guests at parties, family reunions, weddings, or just treating your hardworking employees to a great meal to say thank you. Let us do all the work. Come to your location, set up, and serve your hungry guests an all-you-can-eat barbecue buffet starting at only $8.99 per person.
Encore flavor, Corky's Barbecue.
Now, back to Wolo and Friends on Sports 56 and 98.5 FM, presented by Homer Skelton Hyundai. Here once again is the voice of the Tigers, Dave Woloshin.
Final segment of the week, it's always with Andy Schiffman. Andy does not know this. I saw his dad, Dr. Schiffman, at a little golf tournament earlier this week, and I'm not sure you're aware of this. Son is what I put in the legal language, but your dad has signed you to a lifetime contract with me, just so you know.
Well, that's what he told me. I saw him last night. He's here in Chicago, so I am at your mercy.
I love it when you talk to me that way. All right, quick question.
You said you got a hole-in-one out there, too. Dave.
No, I did not get a hole-in-one. I actually had two greens where I was closest to the pin. For a matter of moments, I was beaten on both. I got nothing. Nothing.
No.
But it was fun.
Well, there you go. That's all that matters.
Yes. So there's always pressure in these games, right?
Absolutely.
Both young teams. The winner of this team becomes the youngest team ever to make the second round, which is kind of cool in its own right. Which is more pressure-packed in your mind? The team at home now that would be eliminated if they don't win, or the team trying, that's the 2 seed that's been favored in every game, trying to close it out? Which one has more pressure?
I think Minnesota absolutely has more pressure for tonight's game against the Grizzlies, Dave. I think that they have been in situations multiple times in games and throughout this series where they have blown opportunities to just put the clamps on Memphis. And now you're at home. Now you're in Game 6. You're fighting for your life. It's an elimination game. I think the pressure is on for them. Absolutely.
We figured, and this is not official, but I think the Grizzlies have had the lead maybe 60 minutes out of the 240. That would be 25% of the time. So the Timberwolves down 3-2 here have had the lead 75% of the time. They have a hard time holding on to leads. They've blown leads all year long, by the way. This isn't a new trend. What do you attribute that to? Youth, coaching? What's the reason here?
Well, it's a little bit of everything. I mean, obviously, you've seen games this series where Chris Finch, who's done a great job with this young Timberwolves team, has maybe made some questionable decisions in terms of not deciding to call a timeout at certain points of games. When the Grizzlies came back, those 25, 26-point leads, they were deficits. They were down rather a couple games ago. Look, the last game where Ja hit that game winner in the last second, the Grizzlies gave up 14 threes in that game, and they only hit 7. But they also caused Minnesota to turn the ball over 20 times.
Right.
Memphis also completely destroyed them on the glass. And there have been multiple times, like I mentioned, where Minnesota is in these games. It's hard to put you can't really quantify in the game of basketball and sports in general what is the number one driving cause when a team blows a lead, blows an opportunity, close out a game. I definitely think there's something to be said for a team laden with veterans that have been there before, that have done it before, that know how to manage end-of-game situations and not getting flustered. I'm not necessarily saying Memphis is that team because they're also a very young team, to your point, the start of this discussion. But they have not been in this situation before.
But, Andy, here is the difference. They did have a closeout win in San Francisco last year to get from the play-in to the playoffs. And they've been in a postseason series, even though they lost to Utah. They've been in a series. Yep. This team can't make that claim.
Yep, no, absolutely. And Minnesota. This is Anthony Edwards. He's a star in this league. He's a rising star.
Yep.
But he has never been in this situation. He's never been in this situation in college at Georgia. This is his first playoff run. Obviously, there's a lot of external noise going on with Karl Anthony Towns and his disappearance for a game or so here in the playoffs. He's been obviously fighting his whole career to get to a point like this. And I don't know. I mean, we're not talking about Chris Finch as a Greg Popovich or Mike Budenholzer or someone like a Doc Rivers who's established, who has been there before multiple seasons. Again, on the other side, though, Taylor Jenkins, another young coach. You could say the same for him. So it's just hard to exactly quantify what the reason is, but it'll be really interesting. I think they know their backs are against the wall. Obviously, they're going to have home court behind them. They're going to have the fans behind them. It's just so tricky because they have been in this exact situation in Minnesota, and you saw the outcome where Memphis emerged triumphant. So the good thing is for the Grizzlies, if you're a Grizzlies fan, no matter how far they might get down, if they do, in fact, get down and dig themselves in a hole, you have been here before, you can come back from this. And mentally, that can be taxing on Minnesota because you can't necessarily coast if you've got a 20-plus point lead in this game because you know what Memphis is capable of.
So this is the last first-round series to be decided.
Yep.
Golden State awaits. Memphis will have a game on Sunday, either against Golden State or a Game 7 at 2:30 at FedEx Forum against Minnesota. How do you think this plays out?
I'm going to say the Grizzlies are going to pull it out tonight. I think they're going to win tonight. I think it's going to be a really good game. I like what I've seen from the Grizzlies. I still check the box in their favor in terms of rebounding, which is hugely important in NBA basketball, defense, and depth, which obviously helps you close out games. So I'm going to give the edge to Memphis, and I think they're going to be seeing Golden State on Sunday.
That'll be fun. All right, Mavs move over Utah. Mike Conley with a costly turnover late in the game. Brunson's become a star there. Will Luka and Brunson really be able to play together? Is that a big break for Dallas? Have they found something because of the Doncic injury?
Well, I think they can play together. It just remains to be seen what Dallas does to keep Jalen Brunson. I believe, if I remember correctly, he turned down about a $55 million extension previously. So
we'll
see what happens with Brunson in free agency, right? And look, there's all this talk, right? I think Brunson's dad, obviously played in the NBA, said something along the lines of, "Hey, we're betting on ourselves. We're going to go out there and not take any discounts. That's all well and good. But you also have to realize every summer in free agency, the number of teams with ample cap room and salary cap room, which will allow them to go out and spend big money on a player like Jalen Brunson, you can really count them on one hand almost every summer. This isn't like we're talking about 15 different teams going to go out there and create a bidding war for Jalen Brunson. So if I'm his agent, and I know we're kind of moving in a different direction here,
right,
you have to know the market, because the last thing you want to do is roll the dice, turn down what is long-term security for Jalen with Dallas because you think you're going to get that much more money on the market, and then you realize you shoot yourself in the foot a little bit, proverbially speaking, because you just don't have that. You have to absolutely be confident and knowledgeable about what your market is with other teams before making a decision, because Dallas, maybe they will, but the way free agency moves in July, it starts July 1st. It officially, when you can begin talking to teams, it really feels like by July 3rd, July 4th, the market is done. And it didn't used to be the case, but Dave, like the first 2 or 3 days of free agency is absolutely very, very frenetic. And all of a sudden you look up 72 hours in, jobs are gone. Salary cap room is gone. So you cannot roll the dice. And so it's not a foregone conclusion that Jalen ends up back with Dallas, but you just have to be smart about it. And I think if he does, I think the two can play together.
All right, along those lines, last thing, and I don't want to get into too sensitive an area, but your guy, BC, Brandon Clark, what has this series done for his future?
Well, it's funny. We were talking about it the other day in the office. He is extension eligible beginning July 1st with the Grizzlies. I know he's very happy in Memphis. I think that he has tremendous value, and he's shown he has tremendous value with this specific Grizzlies roster. I think Brandon's game, a lot of it is predicated on playing with a very high-level, smart, facilitating point guard. He's not someone that's just occupies space on the perimeter, waiting to be a catch-and-shoot threat, or is going to sit there and pull it out and dribble 3 or 4 times and then create something off the dribble and ISO. He is just tremendous, absolutely tremendous at finishing around the rim, pick and roll, all these little things you want from a guy like him. Rim protection, running the floor, rolling hard, just a super, super bounce and athleticism. And I think that now has become more and more in vogue in today's NBA. And so, look, if I'm Zach Kleiman, seeing the success that they've had with Brandon in this roster, I'm doing everything I can to keep Brandon in the Grizzlies uniform. And I don't want to start getting down the path of what we as his agents at Priority are going to do or respond. But, he's definitely happy there. It's great to see the success they've had. So we'll see how things unfold.
I hope that continues, no doubt. I do. Andy, got to go. Thank you so much.
In a great position.
We appreciate it. We'll be watching Dave. For sure. We'll talk about all this next week.
Sounds good. Thanks a lot.
That is our man in Chicago at Priority Sports, Andy Schiffman. He's brought to you by Sheldon. If you hear somebody yelling you're on a golf course, there's a good chance it could be my man Rosengarten with Mark Spensdorf Realtors, because he loves golf, but he spends too much time in real estate. That's what he does. It's pretty much 24/7, 365 with him. That's where his real passion is, although he does love golf, but he has no time to practice. He's terrible. Double bogeys all the time. 3 putts all the time. It's okay. He will help you sell your home for the best price. I promise. He's got this strategic marketing program so successful. People say when you want the job done, you call Sheldon. He's the only agent in town. He'll tell you, interview 2 or 3 real estate brokers before you put your home on the market. Just make sure he's one of them. And then he'll guide you. And he's got the shell box and everything else. So remember, to get to a bottom line, when you want the job done, you call Sheldon. That's 483-0546 or MemphisRelocate.com, Sheldon. We thank Jason Munz. We thank Andy Schiffman. My weekend begins, but not Johnny Radio. He's next. Have a great weekend, everybody.
I know the sweetest thing in Memphis.